Hey everybody, it's Michelle. Yeah, I missed yesterday. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I was out and about doing some important things with important people. You're important too, excuse me, but I wasn't able to get to our live yesterday. I hope everybody had a great weekend though. Yes, indeed. How are y'all doing? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if I'm out here by myself today or if we're talking. As y'all can tell, it is cold outside, and thus I am. It's cold. Yeah, I'm cold. So I'm rocking my cap today. Very comfy, keeps me warm, and all of that and everything. So, y'all, today I want to get into some winning tips, strategies, wisdom, knowledge. Let's talk about it. Everybody, all they want to do is win, 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 no matter what. Win, win, win all the time. And there is an art form to winning. There is a way to maintain your wins, and there is a way to turn your losses into wins. And so, uh, I want to share that with y'all. And before I do that, I want to take time to thank you. If you're watching this, thank you so much. You don't have to spend time with me, and I appreciate you. I really do. And I'm always tickled and giddy uh, when I see that someone has joined me or watched it afterwards and left me a comment or a thumbs up or something, y'all. That blesses me because it lets me know that we're out here together. All right. So wanted to make sure I said thank you for that. I'm just so grateful to be able to do this and to share with you. And as always, before, because I don't want to forget this, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thumbs up for metrics. I've heard that helps. Okay, so anyway, let's get into it. So today's podcast is live, and we talk about the casualties of winning. And what I wanted to do here is I want to just talk and chat a little bit on how to win well and why we need to kind of do some reframes to get our momentum and our mojo back so that we can do that. So if that sounds good to y'all, let's get into it. All right. So with regards to winning, the first thing that I want you to realize is that winning puts you in a specific environment, and that environment is a battlefield. Yeah. If you consider the fact that there is going to be a win, then that means that there is a opposing force, and that this is a battle, a fight, a struggle. Yeah, something like that. And for every win in this type of arena, there is a loss. Now, on my podcast, I talk about in times past, I've talked about the types of games that people play. And we've talked about the types of outcomes. And so you have what everybody is most familiar with, which is going to be that zero sum game, where it means that you have a winner and you have a loser or losers. So that one is going to be where there is just one win, one spot at the top. Then you would have other types of games like positive sum games. I really like those. And that's where everybody wins. That's going to be where you show up and everybody in the room gets a prize. And so it's a win-win. That's where we get that term win-win. That's also where we get that term of negotiating the win, so that everybody is able to receive something from the transaction or the interaction. And then there is a negative sum. And the negative sum game is where it evolves from being at a stalemate. Think of it as nemesis. And a nemesis is a person, which is your equal opposite, where you cannot gain the upper hand. And so you become locked into a struggle and a fight with neither side prevailing. And it deteriorates, where to continue to go onward means that both sides are going to lose. And that's where you get the negative sum game, where it's better to just call it even or walk away. And so that's what we're familiar with stalemates, I don't like to use this term because I don't know if it's offensive or not, but a Mexican standoff and those types of things where the longer you stay locked in there where neither one of you are going to advance, you start to take losses, depletions of resources, or any of that kind of stuff. All right. All right. So now that we've set up our environment for this win, even if you're trying to get a positive sum game where everybody wins something, there are still going to be things that you need to take into consideration when you're going after a win. So this is something that people don't really realize when they set out to win at a game, and that is the aftercare, the maintenance, the winning well, how to maintain and then advance your wins. And too many times people will win at something only to lose ground and so they get stuck where they're not really winning. They're just trying to stop the losses where the net of it is neutrality. Uh, think of the person who has lost and gained the same 20 pounds for the last 20 years. Is that really winning? I would venture to say no. I would actually kind of say it's a negative sum game because with all that yo-yo dieting, you can cause yourself more problems on the back end. Than, and I'm not trying to advocate for people being unhealthy or whatever. I'm just saying, look at whether it's really winning, maintaining, sustaining, or whatever. All right. So when you are thinking about the win, I tend to have these, oh, I'm going to win something. And most people only realize the positive. They only realize the exciting part of it, and they only realize the giddy fanaticalness of that dopamine serotonin hit that they're going to get of, oh, I won something. But for every action, there is a reaction. For every cause, there is effect. And for every up, there is a down. And a lot of people don't realize that sometimes when you are trying to go after the win, there is kind of like a reverb that comes after that win. And that's where a lot of the energy is kind of like you really do have to have a powerful second win game because it's not enough for you to claw your way over the finish line. At the finish line, you're still going to have yet another battle. And so winning is a succession. That's why a lot of times when people talk about the win, they talk about winning, the extra ing, that gerund on the end of it, as a perpetual motion, because you're perpetually doing something, moving forward with your wins. And I hope this is making sense, because I'm out here, I'm talking to y'all, and sometimes people let me know they like it or whatever, so give me a thumbs up if this is making sense. Ask me questions, put stuff in the comments. It's all right. It's all good. I just want to make sure that you're staying with me. All right. Because sometimes I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I caught that live last week and I had a question about this. Okay, why didn't you just put it in there? Why didn't you just talk to me? But anyway, okay, I digress, y'all. Let me come back. Okay. So with these wins on how to win well, what I'm going to tell you is this, and this is just some of the stuff that I have had to learn about not only maintaining, but advancing. And that is that when you are in the midst of something and you have your eyesight on that target, that goal, specifically what you're going after, realize that new level, new devil. When you win, it puts you somewhere and you have to then continue on into a new way of doing things, new energy, new power, a new focus on what you're doing. And sometimes when people are not ready for that, they don't keep that win. And thus that's how they keep going backwards and always, treading the same thing. I don't know if y'all remember it, but there was this time that Oprah decided to give away a whole bunch of cars, right? And those people were like, yes, 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 yes. They were excited, baby, excited. And they were jumping up and down. And then like a few months later, it came out that a lot of people that received those free cars weren't able to take possession of them because, like I said, new level, new devil. And you won the car, but then you had to pay the title transference, the state fees, and claim it as income received or winnings received on your income tax. And baby, some people were not able to handle that, and thus they couldn't even take possession of the gift of the win. And that got me to thinking. Back then I was like, oh, are windfalls sometimes not windfalls? And I remember at that time just remembering that little statement came through that, dang, nothing in life is for free. And I don't like to be categorical like that and paint with broad strokes. But what I will say is that for everything you get, whether you win it, somebody gives it, you take it, there's always some kind of toll to be paid. Because if there isn't, you can't keep it. You just can't. They talk about people with the lottery winnings, and I'm not going to go off onto that because there's so much stuff that you can look at that. And there's a lot of psychology and just different little filters at work on that. But right now in this little chat, we talking about us. We're talking about when we're going after something, when we're trying to win something, and how to do this well, how to continue to keep what you got and keep going. I looked at that situation and that circumstance, and at first I was like, those poor people. But then I looked at it this way, and I was like, you know what? It's part of the battle. It's part of the struggle. Whatever you get, it's not guaranteed to stay just because you got there. No, you got to continue to work for it, continue to strive, thrive, and continue to try to advance and keep. And so these are some of the things that I've had to learn about this whole winning thing. And that is that when you say you're going to win something, even if you get it, even if you keep it, it still has a toll, TOLL, to be paid. Like, for instance, I remember becoming like a best-selling author and stuff like that. It started to get me a whole bunch of eyeballs and a whole bunch of attention. And thus, it started to also get me a whole bunch of backlash, negative reviews, naysaying, snipish behavior, try to take down, downright imitation and theft of ideas. And it hurt at first because I wasn't ready. Remember, new level, new devil. When you win, you are not the same person as before you won. Now you are a winner of whatever this is. And thus you are now put into a new battleground, a new campaign with better soldiers. And so I had to get it together because it was messing with me. And I actually even said, I don't know if this is worth it. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Now you see how sometimes people start giving up the stuff that they've won, and they start, backtracking, even though in their mind, that's not what's connecting. But in their whole, it's because they haven't counted up the cost of what it takes to win well, and to maintain, and then to advance. And so that was one of the things that I had realized, that you lose your anonymity. Think about those people that win a contest, a global televised contest. And if they don't continue to move forward, what do people call them? A one win wonder, a has been, you need a comeback. And so that is another thing that I had to realize about this winning and winning well, is that you have to understand that winning is not the noun. It is the ever advancing action of the verb gerund. It's the continual, perpetual. You are now perpetually needing to move forward with your wins and be okay with the losses that are inevitably going to come. Because once you have a win, you are now guaranteed to have to endure and suffer losses, because you cannot continue to just win. That song, all I do is win, 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 no matter what, it's cute until it's real. And that is in order to quote unquote win no matter what, means that you got to be willing to always be going forward, taking the losses, failing fast forward, taking the hits, being willing to look like you out here bad, because in this world, in this life, you're gonna have troubles and you're not gonna win everything. And on top of that, you have to understand that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy, and you're not going to be up to the task all the time for what that particular challenge meets. I mean, heck, have you ever just even gone to putt putt golf? Try to go to putt putt golf and win the whole thing, do the hole in one and everything. No, putt putt golf to me is a comical view or a way of your winning life. They're going to put so many crazy obstacles, they're going to look impossible. But if you continue to keep going, you continue to play through, to continue to get eventually get that ball in the hole, then you will have your win. Like I said before, I liked how Eddie Murphy described Rudy Ray Moore when he was depicting him in his film Dolomite Is My Name. And he said Rudy Ray was not known for standing out as being a comic, a musician, or an actor, but his life was one of this. He said Rudy Ray Moore was a loser who refused to lose. And to me, that is winning well. That right there is how you win well. You understand that it does not even matter about your last win. All that matters today is what you're going to do to win your battle right now. And what you're going to do with the spoils of the battle or the lessons of the losses. And that's the next thing. I was researching some skirmishes that happened in ancient Africa and different tribes and stuff, and especially like when colonization was coming in, and how the viewpoints were totally different of what constituted a loss or a win. And they talked about some of the tribes that when these quote unquote, I don't like to use this term, conquerors came in, they're like, okay, you won, fine. What you gonna do? Are you gonna kill us? Because if you're not gonna kill us, then now you get ready to take care of us. And no, we not gonna be your slaves, all that kind of stuff. And those people were like, excuse me? And I was like, that's some boldness. But when you look at it, it's kind of true. And it's kind of true. And there's this saying from a quote attributed to Ralph, I have to slow down and say this, y'all. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he said this, I have to read it. He said, nature has made up its mind that what cannot defend itself shall not be defended. And that means that if you can't defend yourself against the elements will kill you. That's nature. Whereas with humanity and humankind, that which you defeat, you now have to decide if you're going to kill it or take care of it. And that's a part of winning that a lot of people don't realize. Remember those people that won those cars and they were like jumping up and down. But then when it came time to kill it or take care of it or defend it, a lot of them had to kill that win, kill that dream, because they could not or would not come up with the taxes, the insurance, and all the other stuff that it took to take possession of that win. And so I was like, winning well, and it includes a lot of stuff that will throw you for a loop if you're not ready for it. I mean, come on, losing your anonymity, your ability to be stealthy, to be underground. I always admire the puppet masters and the dark organizations, because to me, that takes a lot of mastery to be able to have wins and not be found out. Think about it. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but when you start making a little bit of coinage, before, you never heard from your bank unless you did something wrong. But you make a few little coins, get a little bit in the bank, and guess what happens? Your phone starts hopping, your email gets flooded and bulging with everybody in their mind trying to get a meeting with you to come in to talk about your investment opportunities, talk about the new services that are now available to you. You start getting letters for a qualified investor because now you're at a certain level and new rules open up to you and you get inundated. And if you don't understand the rules of engagement in this level of play for the win, then you get either torn asunder or bounce back down to the play little kiddie pool where you can just keep doing that forever. And there are so many people that they win, but they don't win well. They just keep thinking that they're winning and they're only just going through obtaining the same thing over and over at the same level because they're not ready for the attention you get. You lose that anonymity. They're not understanding that whatever you win, you either have to kill it or take care of it. And so they're not ready to do that. Also, they don't understand that there's going to be pain. Oh, yes. Nobody ever said that when you go on the battlefield and win, that you might not suffer some injuries and some pain. One of the biggest things I've had to realize when looking at these campaigns that these great strategists and generals wage was that one of the most important things they would have to make sure they had was a medic or medics and a hospital because there would be casualties and there are casualties to winning. Oh, yes, there are things that you need to consider. What's going to get injured? What's going to get taken out while you're trying to advance your campaign of winning? There have been so many times I've talked to people who are trying to gain this work-life balance, and I'm telling them it's not true. It's a fallacy. Work-life balance is not capable of being maintained for a long time. You will have work-life harmonization where sometimes you're work, sometimes you're life, and it is because of this concept of what it takes to win well. There is a toll to be taken. If what you're going after requires your bodily effort, time, and attention, then something is going to have to sacrifice. And a lot of people don't realize that. It is really hard when you are thrust into the game and you know you have to make it work and it doesn't. Think of when I think of this, I think of single parents trying to take care of their family, be there for their family, advance their career, and it's like it's a setup. It's like, oh my gosh, but yet and still, there is a way to win well. So, in my last few minutes, because y'all, I got to go, I got an appointment after this, but in my last few minutes that I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you and I want to have you consider this. And that is to win well, I want you to get prepared. There are some things you need to put on from the outside and some things you need to put on from the inside. So can we talk? Can we just end this chat on a good? All right. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to put on your covering, put on your coat. And the reason why you need that is because if you're going to win, you're going to get exposed. And like Mark Cuban said, he said, I don't have a problem with going first anymore because I don't worry about the arrows from behind. He says, I just put on a vest. And that's what you need to do. You need to be prepared for battle. You need to wear the right battle armor and clothing before you call yourself going out there. Because not only are you going to be fighting from the front, you're going to be getting friendly fire from the back. There are going to be people arching arrows hitting your back. And it's going to be sometimes where they didn't mean it that way. But a lot of times it's going to be where they don't like you winning so much. You don't deserve that, or they want to slow you down, or crabs in a barrel. And you have to be mindful of that. Don't go out there ignorantly. The next thing is put on things of movement. Make sure that you're able to expand and grow. Understand what it's going to take to sustain what you need to go out there and win. For some people, that might look like them physically putting on more comfortable clothes to run and to move with agility, flexibility, and speed. For other people, it might mean that you have to make sure that you put on the things that are going to keep you from falling and keep your stability because you might be going over treacherous terrain. And for other people, it might simply mean that you need to weather the elements, weather the storms. I'm telling you, there are cold fronts coming, especially when you try to come into a space that was not meant for you. Oh, yes. When you try to advance into an area that is a small club, you're not going to be welcomed, and the cold front can try to freeze you out. So you need to be ready for that. So then we need to talk about what goes on the inside. And on the inside, I want you to make sure that you take the time to understand some things about the lone wolf. Because a win, a lot of times, will encourage you to go out further. And the lone wolf has two main objectives. The lone wolf is willing to leave the pack to explore their own way and to do what they need to fulfill their personal life's calling and their need to succeed. But they're also going out to learn and to teach. And when they come back to the group, they are there to provide them with training and understanding about what is beyond the ridge, the scouting, the understanding of how to do what they've done. And those people, oh, bless their hearts, thank you. They are what we call our pioneers, our Renaissance people, because they're willing to go out by themselves and take the arrows in the back and the fights from the front. So we're very thankful for that. And then up here, you have to understand that part of winning well includes this concept of perseverance and grit. Grit is that element of us that keeps us going, not because we're getting outward approval or feedback, but because we committed to the bit. We are playing our hand to the end. We're playing the cards we got, and not trying to make everything cozy and cushy before we do anything. All right. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. And like I said before, I'm employing grit because I don't know who's out there. I don't know if anybody's out there. But if you are out there, God bless you and thank you. And if you aren't, it's okay. I'm still going to do this. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm still going to do this. So I want you to go out there. I want you to win well. And when you win well, I want you to make sure that you be prepared for the elements, for the things that are coming in front of you and behind you. I want you to gird up your mind, get an understanding that because you said this, you're going to keep going. And I want you to remember that when you get a win, it's inevitable that you're going to get some losses, but it's through the losses that you learn the most, because they are going to be the things that try you and make you keep going and say, do you really want this? Do you really want this? And if you really want it, you're going to do what it takes to turn that loss into a win. You are at that time a loser who refuses to lose. And so understand that this is winning, not a win. Because if you only look at something as a win, I guarantee you'll lose it because you won't be ready for what it takes to maintain it and to keep going and to keep going higher. So, y'all, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for coming by, watching this with me. Leave some comments if there's something you want me to tackle or consider. Put it in the comments and everything. And thank you so much. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Bye, y'all.